So welcome to Horror Stories LCP, your go-to channel for spine-chilling tales that will leave you haunted long after the story ends. In today's episode, we dive into a terrifying tale of paranormal mystery and dark secrets. So this is The Haunting of Ashwood Manor, where an old estate holds more than just history. It's filled with vengeful spirits and eerie occurrences that will send shivers down your spine. Get ready for a story filled with suspense, fear, and the supernatural. Let's begin. The Haunting of Ashwood Manor. Chapter 1. The Inheritance. Sarah Thompson, an ambitious young woman in her late 20s, received a letter that would unlife her life forever. Her estranged grandfather, whom she had never met, had passed away, leaving her a sprawling estate known as Ashwood. So nestled deep within the dense woods of New England, the manor was rumored to be haunted, a repository of dark family secrets and tragedies. Despite the ominous warnings from friends and family, Sarah felt a strange allure to the estate. She had always been fascinated by the supernatural and the unexplained, and the prospect of uncovering her family's history was too enticing to resist. When she arrived at Ashwood Manor, she was struck by its grandeur, though it was shrouded in an unsettling air. The house loomed over her, its tall windows resembling empty eyes watching her closely. The grounds were overgrown, and an eerie silence enveloped the place, as if time had forgotten it. Inside, the decor combined elegance with decay. Dust motes danced in the shafts of light filtering through the windows, and a heavy scent of mildew hung in the air. Sarah felt a chill creep up her spine as she wandered through the house, each room revealing fragments of a lifelong past. Portraits of her ancestors stared down at her, their expressions disapproving, and the furniture was draped in white sheets, as if mourning. As night fell, she found herself drawn to a large library filled with dusty books. One book in particular caught her attention: the history of the Thompson family. She began to read, captivated by the tales of her ancestors. But as she turned the pages, she noticed something strange. Each generation seemed to end in tragedy. Chapter 2. The First Night. That first night, as Sarah settled into her new home, the house seemed to come alive. The wind howled outside, rattling the windows, and she could hear the faint creaking of the floorboards above her. But it was the whispers that unnerved her most, a low, almost melodic sound echoing through the halls. At first, she dismissed it as the wind, but the longer she listened, the more distinct the whispers became. They seemed to call her name, urging her to come closer, to uncover the secrets hidden within the walls of Ashwood Manor. Unable to resist, she followed the sound, venturing into the dark corridors. The air was thick with oppressive energy, and her heart raced as she approached a door at the end of the hallway. It was slightly ajar, and the whispers grew louder, almost frantic. Pushing the door open, she entered a small room filled with antique furniture covered in dust. In the center stood an old, ornate mirror, its surface foggy with age. As she approached, the whispers ceased, replaced by an eerie silence. She gazed into the mirror, and for a fleeting moment, she thought she saw a figure behind her, a woman in a long white dress with long, dark hair. Sarah spun around, but the room was empty. Dismissing it as a trick of the light, she turned back to the mirror. The reflection showed not only her bewildered expression, but also a vibrant garden, lush and blooming, bathed in sunlight. Chapter 3. The Connection. The next morning, Sarah woke with a sense of unease. Despite her excitement about uncovering her family's history, she felt a heaviness in her chest. Determined to push through her anxiety, she returned to the library, diving deeper into the history of Ashwood Manor. As she read, she learned about her grandmother, Clara Thompson, who had mysteriously vanished from the estate decades ago. Townspeople whispered that she had been taken by the spirits of the manor, trapped within its walls forever. But Sarah felt an unusual connection to her grandmother, as though they shared an unbreakable bond. With each passing day, Sarah grew more obsessed with the idea of uncovering the truth. She spent hours in the library, piecing together the fragments of her family's past, but the whispers continued to haunt her, calling her name in the dead of night. So one evening, while searching through the attic, Sarah discovered an old trunk filled with her grandmother's belongings: a beautiful lace dress, letters and pierfy, and photographs. Among them, she found a journal, its pages yellowed with age. As she read, her heart raced with each revelation. Kira had written about her experiences in the manor, describing encounters with spirits and the overwhelming feeling of being watched. The journal ended abruptly with a chilling entry. "I feel them closing in. I must find a way to escape before it's too late." Chapter 4. The Gathering Darkness. As the days turned into weeks, Sarah began to experience strange occurrences. Shadows flickered in the corners of her vision, objects moved on their own, and the whispers grew more urgent, till they seemed to be guiding her, leading her deeper into the manor's secrets. Till one night, as she lay in bed, she was jolted awake by a cold breeze brushing against her skin. The whispers were louder than ever, pleading with her to listen. Against her better judgment, she followed the sound once more, this time leading her to the garden she had seen in the mirror. Opening the door to the garden felt like stepping into another world. The air was fragrant with flowers, and sunlight bathed everything in a warm glow. But as she stepped inside, a shadow crossed over her. The garden began to fade, replaced by the dark and foreboding atmosphere of the manor. Panicking, Sarah rushed back inside, but the shadows felt alive, swirling around her. She stumbled into the library, where she found the mirror reflecting not her own image, but a scene from the past. There stood her grandmother, dressed in the lace gown, her face twisted in anguish. "Help me." Clara's voice echoed through the room. "You must break the curse." Chapter 5. The Confrontation. Sarah realized that she was not just uncovering her family's history, she was entwined in it. The spirits trapped within Ashwood Manor were her ancestors, and they were seeking her help to finally break free from the cycle of tragedy. Determined to save her grandmother and the lost souls of her family, Sarah plunged into the depths of the manor's history, seeking the origin of the curse. She discovered an ancient ritual performed generations ago, one that had bound the spirits to the estate. With the knowledge gained from Clara's journal, Sarah prepared for the confrontation. She gathered items from each of the past generations: a lock of hair, a piece of jewelry, and a family heirloom, all imbued with the essence of those lost souls. That night, she lit candles in the library and positioned the items around the mirror, reciting the incantation from the journal. The whispers grew frantic, swirling around her like a tempest. Shadows danced along the walls, and the mirror shimmered with an ethereal light. Suddenly, the room plunged into darkness. The whispers turned to screams, and a powerful force pushed against her, trying to pull her away from the mirror. But Sarah stood firm, her heart pounding, her will strong. She could feel the presence of her grandmother, guiding her, encouraging her to finish the ritual. As she completed the final words, a blinding light erupted from the mirror, illuminating the room. Sarah was thrown backward, and for a moment, everything went black. Chapter 6. Breaking the Curse. When she opened her eyes, she found herself standing in the garden once more, vibrant and alive. The air was filled with laughter, and she looked around in wonder. The spirits of her ancestors surrounded her, their faces filled with relief and gratitude. In the center of the garden stood her grandmother, radiant and smiling. "You did it, Sarah," she said softly. "You broke the curse." Tears streamed down Sarah's face as she embraced her grandmother. The weight of generations had lifted, and Ashwood Manor was no longer a prison for their souls. They were free at last. As the spirits began to fade into the light, Clara whispered, "You are the light of our family. Remember us and carry our legacy with you." Sarah nodded, knowing she would honor their memory, but also ready to step into her own future, unburdened by the darkness of the past. Chapter 7. A New Beginning. When Sarah returned to the manor, It felt different, lighter, as if the air had been cleared of the oppressive energy. She decided to stay and restore Ashwood Manor, turning it into a sanctuary for those seeking solace and healing. She knew the history of her family, the struggles they faced, but now she could look toward the future. As she settled into her new life, the memories of the whispers and shadows remained, but they no longer haunted her. Instead, they served as a reminder of her family's love and resilience, a bond that could never be broken. And on quiet nights, when the wind rustled through the trees, Sarah could almost hear echoes of laughter in the garden, a beautiful reminder of the legacy she had embraced. The end. This retelling retains the essence of the original story, while introducing new character names and maintaining the themes of supernatural horror, family legacy, and personal growth. So thank you for listening to Horror Stories LCP and joining us for the haunting of Ashwood Manor. So we hope this tale of haunted halls and vengeful spirits kept you on the edge of your seat. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our next chilling episode. Share this video with fellow horror fans, and we'll see you in the next terrifying story.